Hey friends, this is Kristin, Denise Hemingway, and I get the pleasure of sharing with you tonight for our live event on how to successfully navigate depression during the holidays. So we're going to give it a couple of minutes, which is why you hear music playing, to let people join the live, and we will go from there. I hope everyone has had a great day, a great week, as we're going into a very different holiday season. I know that a lot of people, unfortunately, will be experiencing this holiday in ways that are not normal for them. You know, some people would normally travel to be with family and they won't be able to be with family this year. Some people are like experts in Friendsgiving, but they can't do Friendsgiving this year. Some people are going to have some people missing from their tables this year, which is really, really hard. So that is why we decided to do this particular live so that I can share from my expertise. And I'll explain my background and why I do this and how we got here in a moment. As soon as we officially get started, I'm going to give it like 20 more seconds and then I'm going to stop the music and I'm going to get popping. I'm listening to her. I love her. So this was her first EP or album. I don't even remember, but I love it. I listened to it. I've been listening to it for about an hour now. So just decided to share a little bit of that with y'all. Okay, it looks like we are going to go ahead and get started now, so I can pause her and get going. Again, my name is Kristin Denise Hemingway. I'm an alum of the Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, hence my 1887 t-shirt that I got made for homecoming last year for the game. I decided to wear that tonight in remembrance of homecoming, since we didn't get to have one this year. Let's see. I am doing this because a couple of weeks ago, I'm a member of the HBCU Singles Lounge. And a couple of weeks ago, somebody posted just about how to get through the holidays. They had a traumatic experience around the holidays. They lost a loved one. And this was going to be their first, holiday season since that loss. And they were like, am I the only one that feels this way? What do we do? And a bunch of people chimed in and started sharing their own losses. And people have experienced some tragedies during the holidays, which can make this time of year just particularly hard for an individual. And then when you add all of the extra of COVID-19 and everything that has happened this year, a very contentious presidential election that has like finally been resolved. Black Lives Matter, people tripping at work. When you just throw all these things in the mix, it can make this time of year really, really, really challenging. And so just to give a little bit of information on tonight, I'm going to share a part of my personal story, why this matters so much to me. I'm going to share my background and why I'm a person to speak on this particular topic. Then I'm going to answer some questions that people had once we posted that we were going to do this event. I want to make sure to share the information that people want. And then finally, I'm going to just share some tips, some basic tips that anybody can use, honestly, in any season that's really challenging for you to help you move forward effectively. So I have my notes. I'm going to use my iPad for notes. I'm not going to try to remember stuff because I don't have to, right? That's what technology is for. So if you see me looking over to the side, now I'm looking at my notes on my iPad. I'm not checking my phone, right? So let's see. Like I said, first I'm going to start with my background and why this matters so much to me. So in 1995, my grandmother passed away. I was 14 at the time. It was my freshman year of high school. My grandmother is one of the most significant and important people in my life. And the holidays was like her time. Like she shined, baking, cooking, our family gatherings, like all of that stuff. So when I lost her in 1995, the holidays started to become challenging. Like instead of putting up our Christmas tree, the day after Thanksgiving, that was like our Black Friday tradition, and maybe got put up, 2 weeks before Christmas. Instead of having these really beautiful wrap gifts, my grandmother used to work in gift wrap in a department store, so she was like the gift wrapping ninja, and she made these beautiful handmade bows. It started to be like gift bags and kind of okay wrapping and the little stick-on bows that you buy at the store in bulk, right? Instead of having a house full of poinsettia flowers, which were her thing, some years we didn't have any at all. And as we kind of finally started to get to a new normal 3 years later, exactly 2 weeks before Christmas, on December 11th, 1998, my mom's baby sister was killed in a car accident on her way home from work, which was extremely traumatizing. We had lived in the same house pretty much the entirety of my life. I was actually the last family member to see her alive that morning before she left for work. And I remember, telling her I love her and I just knowing I'm going to see her again that afternoon. So when the police knocked on my door that evening, they were like, hey, you need to call the sheriff's department. It's in regards to your aunt. Well, they said her name. Um, and I'm the one that called. So as a 17-year-old, I'm the one that called. I'm the one that found out that she was killed in a car accident. And I'm the one that had to tell the rest of my family. That sucks. Her funeral was exactly 1 week before Christmas on December 18th. And that Christmas, needless to say, was not a good time for our family. It was very hard, very challenging. It took me maybe a smooth decade to even really try to celebrate Christmas again personally. Like, I think our tree had already been up that year. So we had a tree that year, but I don't know if we put up a tree at all the next year. I honestly don't remember it. I remember my mom like walking downstairs kind of in a daze and she handed me a card. She's like, Merry Christmas. It wasn't even Christmas yet. It was like December 24th, but she had kind of like lost track of time in her own grieving process. Um, and that just kind of set the stage for me in particular to like be like, it's just another day. And over the years, develop seasonal depression and just all these other things, and realize over time that like November 1st is my trigger, and that my emotional and my mental state will start to go downhill. And then when you come on the other side of the new year, I will start to kind of uptrend again. And that's just kind of been my cycle, honestly, for the last, when I was 17, I'm 39, so like for the last 22 years of my life. Um, at one point, I was just really sad the entire time and felt like I couldn't have any fun or any joy or any good thing. As I got older, I realized, hey, joy and sadness can sit together. And as I learned to navigate that, I'm in a place now where I can still experience a lot of joy during the holiday season, although it is still a triggering time for me. And I'm going to share the things that I have learned that have helped me to do this, which is why I'm here today. So, disclaimer, I'm not a therapist. I am a coach. I'm a self care coach and a life coach. So, I do have some tips from that perspective. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a licensed therapist. So, you can take anything I say with a grain of salt. A part of what I will encourage you to do is to seek out therapy if you have not had it. If your job offers it through like a EAP program, you can look online. You can use Psychology Today. I found my therapist on Therapy for Black Girls. They have people with sliding scales. If it's a financial issue, your church offers it. There's community offerings. Like, do what you need to do to get the mental help that you need to be okay. So now, right, that's the backstory. That's how we got here. So I'm going to start with tips. Here are some of the things that I started to do to help the holiday season become a little bit easier for me. So the first thing is I was okay with feeling my feelings, right? You have to give yourself permission to feel how you feel. So if I wake up and I feel sad, I feel sad. It's not the end of the world. I don't have to pretend to not be sad. I can say, I'm not feeling it right now. I'm sad. It's a rough day, for me, or the day has started off rough for me. And in acknowledging that I'm sad, I can then proactively go after things and do things that bring me joy. So for me, a quick fix when I'm feeling really down, I listen to inspirational music. So for me, that could be gospel music, or it could just be songs that I really like that I find that are uplifting and light. I can read a book. Maybe I want to lay down a little bit longer and give myself a chance to ease into my day. I can pray. I can phone a friend. There are a lot of things I can do when I'm not really feeling it to help me transition to a better space. But that doesn't happen by pretending like I'm not sad. If I'm sad, I'm sad. It happens by me acknowledging that and then doing what I need to do to move me to a better space. So feel your feelings, okay? It is okay to feel exactly how you feel. You just have to commit to not staying there because you don't have to stay there. As I already stated, joy is possible even when you're sad. And when I learned that joy and sadness can sit together, it made a world of difference in how I navigated the season and how I felt during this time of year. And I found myself having more joy than I even realized was possible before I accepted the fact that they can coexist, because they can. The next thing, as I already stated, therapy is your friend. I have great friends who I can talk to, who I can lean on. And, in normal circumstances, I can go on their shoulder and cry if I needed to, or whatever the case may be. Um, but I have a trained professional who has given me great tips, a lot of help, and just really put me in a position to be successful as I navigate this time of year. We've been together for the last 3 years. We just celebrated our 3-year anniversary, and my life is just markedly better because she is in my life. So please do whatever you can to get the professional assistance that you need. I know there can be a stigma around therapy for a lot of people. I don't go to therapy because I am crazy. I go to therapy because I don't want to be crazy. So, therapy, get what you can to get to where you need to be to give you the tools that you need to navigate the season well. Number three would be, I'm sorry, I moved the document. Take some time to remember the good times, to honor the traditions that you had with your family. So, you know what I'm going to be doing on the day after Thanksgiving? I'm going to put up my Christmas tree. Why? Because that honors a tradition I had with my grandmother for 13 years before she passed away. And that invokes her spirit and brings it into my world, and it helps me to feel better, and it brings me joy. And I deserve to have joy, and you do too. Another thing that I did, my brother had like we had general Christmas ornaments, but we also had some special ones. So in 2018, when I moved into my townhouse at the time, um, I had friends come over. I had a Christmas party. I had it on December 1st. It was like a housewarming Christmas party. I had gotten a new job. It was like a celebration of all the things. And I told them to bring ornaments. So I'm excited to pull my ornaments out because yes, I bought some filler ornaments. You know, you get the pack at like Target or whatever, or Walmart, Home Depot, whatever you say. All of my friends, people who were significant to my world and important to me, they bought me ornaments for my tree. So I don't have just any ornaments. I have very special ornaments that signify the love that I have in my life, the significant relationships and friendships. Um, and it reminds me again of traditions I had with my family, with my grandmother, of having these special ornaments that you get to pull out once a year and celebrate. I have ones my mom bought me. She wasn't able. My mom lives in Michigan, so she couldn't come to Atlanta. I'm in Atlanta for my Christmas party, but when I went home for our family Christmas party, she had bought me these special ornaments that signify things in my life. So like one's a computer because I'm always on the computer doing something. One is like a suitcase because I love to travel. I think one was a phone. So I'm excited to pull them back out and to experience all of the joy that having them evokes in my life. So honor your traditions. Another thing I do is I bake cookies. I love to bake, but I don't do it all the time. So one of the things I do during the holidays, sometimes I bake cookies and then I get them out of my house because I don't need all the sugar in my house, right? So I'm going to be baking cookies. I love the smell of baked goods in the home. I'm going to probably bake a pound cake or two and then call a friend like, hey, who wants a pound cake? Because again, it can't stay in my house. It's got to go. But baking and the smell of baked goods is a part of joy for me. One thing I had started doing, I work with children, so we would make gingerbread houses. I never did that growing up for real. Like we did them at school with the little milk cartons and the graham crackers, but I always wanted to. So it's a tradition I started with the students I work with. Well, I can't do that with my students this year, but I think I'm going to go ahead and try to make a gingerbread house with my goddaughter now. She's going to be 2 in 2 weeks, so that can go a lot of different ways. But it's a way to keep that tradition going. It doesn't look the same, but it can still be there, a part of my life, and bring me joy. So, what are the traditions you want to relive? What were the really good memories that you had that you want to be a part of your life? I'm not doing a big Thanksgiving meal. It's me solo. I live alone. I don't need to cook all of that stuff. But you know what I'm gonna bake? Macaroni and cheese. You know why? Because I used to bake macaroni and cheese with my grandma. That's another thing, another tradition that I can honor that brings me joy. The flip side of that is you get to create new traditions. What are the things that you're going to do now to add joy to your life? So, one of my newer traditions this year will be year 3, and it will look a little different because COVID, like most things. But I have a really, really dear sister friend who, the last 2 years, she's invited me to come with her family, and we go to see the lights at Atlanta Botanical Gardens. It is magical and it is beautiful. And I help the kids make s'mores. I don't eat s'mores. I don't like marshmallows, but it's fun helping the kids make their s'mores and eat their s'mores. We drink warm apple cider or hot chocolate. We walk around and we listen to the music and we look at the lights and we watch the kids light up in the process and just kind of be in awe of everything that's happening. So this year won't be as crowded, can't be as many people, but my heart like soared when she sent me the text probably like a week or two ago to say, hey, you ready for like holiday lights? Absolutely. That is a tradition that I'm glad to be building with a dear friend and her family, that I'm glad to be a part of. It's a reminder that I'm loved. And so, yes, I'm single. Yes, I live by myself. Yes, my family is in another state, but it doesn't mean that there's not love in my life and there are not people around me that care for me. So, what new traditions can you start? Even if you start some solo ones, one of the things I try to do during the holidays is some kind of community service that matters to me. Nobody else has to come do that with me. I can go out and joined an organization that's already doing work. I've gone out on my own and just made some food bags and given them to people. But serving others is something that just brings me a great bit of joy, honestly. And I think actually that's the next thing, which is give back. Find a way to add joy and value to the lives of other people. It automatically brings it back to you. It automatically helps your heart to soar. And so, is there a family you can adopt? So many people need help this year. So many people have lost their jobs. So many people have had reduced hours. There are people who are literally trying to figure out how they're going to pay rent. So if somebody doesn't come in and help them, Christmas isn't happening for them. So is there a family you can adopt? Can you donate? Is there a Toys for Tots drive? Is there a Greek letter organization collecting toys or doing something? Is your church doing something? Find something you can do to give of yourself to help other people. Flip side of that, if you need help, don't be afraid to ask. We all need help sometimes, right? Sometimes we're the giver, but sometimes we need to be the receiver. And being a receiver is important because it reminds us of what it feels like to be in need, and it helps us to be more generous when we get to be on the other side of that again. So find a way to give of yourself, to give back. Read a story online for the kids at church or, for local elementary school students. But find a way to connect with people and to share yourself and your love with others. I promise you, it comes back to you tenfold. And then 5 is major for me. Like I started, I'm a life coach and I deal specifically with self care. Focus on self care. Like, in particular, if you're by yourself during this time, make it a point to love on yourself really, really, really well. So, one example of that is, and I say do it in every area of your life, right? So, how do you love on yourself really well mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally? So, one of the things I do physically, I have a friend of mine makes these amazing body butters called Body Crystals. If you're interested, she's online. She's actually having a delightful sale right now. Um, but they feel like heaven. Like, they smell really good. They're thick. Like, I love how my skin feels after I use her body scrubs and her body butters. What did I pick up today? 4 new body butters. Why? Because I'm gonna have the most luxurious moisturized skin this side of the Mississippi River because I feel good when I put it on. And I am going to love myself well enough. I normally save it for special occasions. Life is a special occasion right now. So I'm gonna use my body crystals and I'm gonna lather my skin up really, really good and be really, really moisturized because it brings joy to my soul, right? I'm gonna use my pretty wine glasses. So I bought these wine glasses from Anthropologie. This is wine in the wine glass, right? So I'm gonna drink the good stuff. I'm gonna use my pretty wine glasses. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna enjoy my life. Eat really good food. Eat food that's good for you, but eat like really good food. There's a seafood place not far from my house that I absolutely love. Who gonna get that seafood platter? Me, and I'm gonna enjoy it thoroughly. Who's gonna order brunch from their favorite restaurant? Me, and I'm gonna thoroughly enjoy it. I'm gonna fill my body with really good things. Um, Drink your water. It's important. This is all water. So I have my wine and my water, right? Um, but take care of yourself. Take really, really good care of yourself. Figure out the things that bring you the most joy and do them. Reading is really important for me. So during this season in particular, I'm taking time. I'm starting my day with reading. So before I even get out of bed, I have my Kindle app open on my iPad, and I'm just reading for leisure because reading is something that really, really brings me joy. And I'm typically reading before I go to bed at night. Why? Because it's for leisure and it's something that really, really brings me joy. Buy yourself something nice. I probably purchased too many things for myself right now. I can own it. I like shopping. But buy yourself something really nice, a really comfy sweater. Buy yourself something comfortable, right? We're spending more time in the house. We might go back on stay at home orders, depending on what state you live in and how responsible your governor is and what your COVID numbers look like. Buy some really comfy clothes that make you feel like you're being wrapped in a hug. I love a comfy sweater or hoodie, really soft pajamas. I bought a bunch of them at the beginning of all of this because I was like, I know I'm gonna be spending a lot of time in the house. So make your home a very comfortable space because you know you're gonna be in it. That's why all these words and things on the wall are behind me. I love words. They bring me joy. Having my word wall makes me happy. So I made sure to get my word wall up. I have moved in August. This word wall went up like a week or two ago because I knew I was getting into a season that was harder for me. I wanted to do something that made sure there was more joy in my life. So, make your word wall if you need a word wall or an art wall, but make your home a very comfortable space. I bought some new throw pillows, right? I have a bunch of candles. This is one I really love that I bought from Anthropology. It just smells amazing. I light it like while I'm sitting at the table doing homework. I have a closet full of candles. You like Bath and Body Works candles? Their sale is 3 days this year, the whole first weekend of December. Get your candles. Um, but do what you need to do to make your space comfortable because you have to be in it. And especially if you have to be in it by yourself, you want it to be as comfortable as possible. You want it to be as reflective of your personality as possible. There are a lot of bright colors in my space. There are a lot of stuffed animals in my space because I love stuffed animals. There is wine in my space because I want wine. I use pretty reusable cups for my water because I drink more water with a straw. Like, know yourself, but do what you need to do to feel good on the inside, to take care of yourself really well, to take care of your mental, like to make sure that there is joy in your life. All of this, the self care piece in particular, is about proactively seeking joy. Go after joy with reckless abandon. Sadness is going to meet you whether or not you want to meet it. Joy is not a guarantee unless you go after it and you pursue it. So I encourage you to pursue your joy with all that you have. A big one for me, because as I said, I'm single, I live alone, is FaceTime. I actually don't like Zoom calls. This week I've been on three, and they've brought me so much joy because it's helped me to connect with people in a safe way. I took some professional photos. Why? Because I got a chance to dress up and look good and feel good. And I took them with my goddaughter because she lights up my world. So now I have these beautiful new pictures to add to my wall in my house. Um, so, what are those things for you? You don't have to wait until you married with kids to do Christmas pictures. Do Christmas pictures, make the Christmas card, and send it to the people that you love. Share your life updates. What are the good things that have happened for you this year? Start a gratitude journal. If you don't already have a gratitude journal, reminding yourself of the things that have gone well in your life during this time is a great step in helping you to maintain your mental and emotional health during this season. This year has been hard. One of my favorite things in the world to do is travel. What have I not been able to do? Travel, right? I haven't even been able to go on a road trip because I was in a car accident, so I can't sit in the car that long. So I've been stuck in Atlanta pretty much all year when for the last like 5 or 6 years, I've traveled every month. And so to go from traveling every month to not traveling, to go from last year for Thanksgiving, I went to Kenya, like epic trip, right? For this year to be sitting in my apartment and not even go to the tree lighting at Atlantic Station, which is something I normally did, which was like a part of my holiday tradition that got switched up this year, has been really hard. And so I have done the other things that I can do to make sure that there was joy in my life. So of a god mommy, goddaughter photo shoot, all the joy in the world for me, right? Talking to my mama on FaceTime and sending her stuff, all the joy in the world for me. Reading good books, all the joy in the world for me. Snuggling under a blanket, lighting a candle, drinking some wine, all the joy in the world for me. A big part of navigating the season well will be focusing on what you are grateful for and what you are able to do versus putting all of your energy in what you feel like you lost or what you can't do. Let's see. So those are really all of my general tips. I'm now going to answer the questions that people posted when we did this. So one person asked, do the carb cravings serve a purpose or should we fight against them? Food cravings are real. A lot of times during this season, the food cravings are you want things that are comforting to you. So one of the things I've craved a lot is soup, right? Chick-fil-A makes a bomb soup, a chicken noodle soup and a chicken tortilla soup that I really love. I make a delightful chicken tortilla soup in the crock pot. So I've been craving soup. Now you can't live off of soup, right? But what I can do is answer the craving from time to time. I'm not going to necessarily answer it every time it comes, but it's okay to answer the cravings that your body has. The key is going to be moderation. You don't have to ignore it because one of the things that we know to be true, when you have a craving, nothing else is going to satisfy you until you satisfy the craving, right? But you can do that in moderation. So if you're craving bread, like if I'm like, oh, croissants, I want croissants because I love croissants, love them, right? But if that's something you're like dealing with, I'm not gonna go buy a 12 pack of croissants because I may not have as much self control as I think I do, and I might eat them all. I'll buy one. So I've satisfied the craving. I ate the croissant. I can go on about my business, right? It's okay to have some comfort in food. There's food that just invokes good feelings. Dutch apple pie is one of those things for me that invokes a really good feeling. Do I need a whole Dutch apple pie? I don't. But can I go buy a mini one from Publix and split it up and put it in different containers and eat it? Absolutely. Another thing for me is I love cake, and there's a place that we have here that I adore called Piece of Cake. I can go get a slice of cake, and it's 3-layer cake. So what I do, that's 3 different servings of cake for me. I don't just sit and eat the whole piece, when I bought it. That one piece of cake can last me 3 or 4 days. And that helps me to satisfy the sweet craving I have when I have it. I get the cake, I feel amazing. But I haven't gone overboard and made myself sick because I'm eating all these sweets and stuff. So the key for that is going to be moderation. You can eat the food that your body is craving. You just want to make sure you're not going overboard. So an example is like, oh, I really want a Snicker bar. Don't get the big normal size Snicker bar. Buy one of the mini ones. Eat the one, because usually after 2 or 3 bites, your craving is gone. We just feel like we got to finish the food because, oh, I opened a candy bar or whatever the case may be, or I bought a whole bag of chips. You don't have to eat all of it at once. You can get a handful of something, satisfy your craving, and then move forward. You really want to make sure you're eating healthy during this time and doing your best to take care of yourself, because it's easy when you're not feeling your best mentally and emotionally to make yourself sick physically because you're neglecting your body. Don't neglect your body. So feed yourself the stuff that you need. Eat your fruits, eat your vegetables. If you're a pescatarian, your fish. If you are, a good old carnivore, eat your food, eat your meat, whatever it is. But eat really good stuff. Feed your body really well. Treat it like you love it. So you can have your cravings, just don't live off of your cravings. Um, there were 2 or 3 questions around vitamin D. So one was, how often can we take vitamin D supplements? And then one was like, does vitamin D actually help? And then the third question was, is there an alternative that does not cause stomach upset? So vitamin D is beneficial. You do want to have vitamin D. And if, one is getting darker earlier, right? So there's that. It's colder, so people don't spend as much time outside. If you are a brown skinned person, your body absorbs less vitamin D from the sun, even if you are outside. So there are a lot of factors that go into how your body utilizes vitamin D, and it is beneficial and it is necessary for you to be healthy. So how often can you take vitamin D? You don't have to necessarily worry about how often you take it. You need to be more concerned about how much you're taking. So the units for vitamin D is IUs, right? And they recommend, I wrote this down so I didn't lie to you, the average person needs 600 to 800 IUs of vitamin D a day. So don't, if you have 1,000 milligram vitamin D uh, pill, one a day is enough, right? They say on the upper end, if you know like you need more vitamin D based on what your doctor said, not just how you might be feeling, but literally like getting test results, they say you can take up to 4,000 IUs a day and still be on the safe side. So that means you can, it's a range, right? Anywhere from 600 to 4,000 IUs if you're talking about a vitamin D supplement. I can say this, it's best to talk to your doctor first. Like, have you had your annual physical this year? Have they run their battery of tests on you? Because it will tell you where you stand with everything, all your vitamins, and it'll help you know what to do to move forward successfully. So at one point, I had a severe vitamin D deficiency, like it was super severe. So they had to put me on a prescription amount of vitamin D, and I had to take 50,000 IUs a week. That was rough. Don't let yourself get to that place, okay? If you can avoid it, avoid it. But that was also, as I stated, prescribed by my doctor. It was something I had to do for a limited period of time. I had to do it for 2 months, but it was to get me into a safe place because my vitamin D was just so low. So it's important to talk to your doctor to see what you need. Right now, they do recommend that I take a vitamin D supplement because my vitamin D is still, it's not as critically low as it was then, but it's still not where it needs to be. And I actually take a multivitamin. That was going to be my other suggestion. Get a really good multivitamin that has vitamin D in it. I use Ritual. It's something you order online. They have a formula for women. They have a formula for men. It's vegan. It actually has been one of the best supplements I've ever taken. So that's what I use at this point, is a good multivitamin to ensure that I'm getting what I need across the board with those critical vitamins for health. They recommend, versus taking supplements if you can avoid it, that you actually get your vitamin D from your food. So the foods that are high in vitamin D were fortified dairy products. So if you are not vegan, if you can't eat dairy, just get your fortified dairy products, and they are infused with more vitamin D than normal. Fatty fish, so you can get your salmon, tuna, things like that. Orange juice was one. Sun-dried mushrooms, which I had never heard of, but that's apparently another good source of vitamin D. But you can also go online, you can Google it, find out what you need. But they recommend as much as you can get what you need, your nutrients from food versus supplements. And then if you take a really good multivitamin to fill in the gap, you'll be in a good space. But one of the reasons that so many people focus on vitamin D is because vitamin D helps to release serotonin in your brain. And serotonin is a feel good chemical that your body naturally creates. And the more that you can produce, the better that you will feel. So that is vitamin D. The next question was are there some artificial light sources that are better than others? And if so, what standards should you be considering when purchasing? I'm not an authority on artificial light. What I did do is I found two articles where people did like a ton of research and comparisons, and they listed the best artificial light sources across a wide range of budgets. And I posted them on the original post that talked about the seminar. What I will do, I realized that was in the singles lounge. So I will come back and post them in the general lounge so that everybody has access to it. But I felt like you should learn from an expert, and I wasn't an expert in that. So I just did a little bit of research, and they gave you tips on some of the best artificial lights to use. But they say they are beneficial. So across the board, everybody does say the artificial light sources in general are beneficial. And sitting in front of one for like 30 minutes a day is a good look, in particular during this time of year where it gets darker earlier and we're not getting as much sun as our lovely melanated skin is used to. So, what natural supplements can help deal with depression? Eating good in general will help you deal with depression. The better you take care of your overall system, the better your body is able to manage anything that comes its way, from mental health to physical health, emotional health. So that's just kind of a general tip. Again, eat really good food, eat as healthy as you can in general. So that's number one. There are some supplements that you can take that have been shown to aid with depression. And so there were four main ones. The first one was fish oil. It's high in omega-3 fatty acid. It's also something you can get from just eating more fish, which gives you the vitamin D, fish oil. You see how it all works together. The particular nutrient that's in there is called EPA, which they say is what is most helpful when it comes to dealing with depression. Vitamin D, as we already said, because it helps to produce the serotonin for you. There's one called L-methylfolate, which is a specific type of folic acid. The reason that that is beneficial is that there are some cellular processes that slow down in the winter and when you're not getting enough light and stuff. And so this particular folic acid supplement helps to keep those processes moving like normal. And it is similar to, or something doctors have prescribed to patients who don't respond well to antidepressants. So it's like a natural antidepressant. So again, that is L-methylfolate, which is a specific type of folic acid. And then the last one is called SAM-E, which it's a general supplement you can get. Somebody recommended it to me before. And it's shown to increase the levels of serotonin in the brain. So we're back to this feel-good chemical that your body naturally produces. So when you take more of the SAM-E, it increases the serotonin in your body, which will elevate your mood and help you to better navigate seasonal depression if it's seasonal depression. I would say if it's not seasonal depression, I have a clinical diagnosis of major depressive disorder with anxiety. So mine ain't seasonal. I wish it was, but it's not. But the holiday season is a big trigger for me, and it's one of the main times during the year where I experience depression. So also couple that with therapy. It makes a world of difference, okay? Again, I'm going to always go back to therapy because it is a game changer. Somebody, and so I'm seeing the comments now. I totally understand. So somebody said their trigger is Veterans Day. So mine is November 1st, right? So it's still right around that same time. It's like, yay, Halloween, happy, dress up, have fun. I'll be really transparent. This year, literally on October 31st, I was out and about running some errands. I decided on October 31st, I wanted to put up some fall decor. I live in the South though, so it's fall longer. It don't feel like winter. I had gone to a store, I was buying little stuff and finding the things that I want. And on the way driving home, I burst into tears. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. I was in the car. I found the stuff I wanted. I was driving home and I just started crying. And I cried the rest of the weekend. Like every couple minutes, it was like a wave of sadness washed over me and that thing took me down. And I couldn't stop it. I would be fine and then I would just be crying. I call my mom. My mom like, what is wrong? Like, what happened? I'm like, Mommy, nothing happened. This is a part of my depression. And you have to learn how to navigate, right? So I did spend a lot of time in bed that weekend, right? Because I just needed to rest. And I was kind of overwhelmed by all my feelings. But I didn't try to stop myself from crying either. So I haven't had another instance like that because I allowed my body to get it out. Um, it is, what I needed. I understand, like I said, I have my diagnosis of major depressive disorder, and yes, the holidays can make it worse. But what I've learned is it does not have to be worse. The more I go after my joy, the better off it ends up balancing out. It doesn't mean that I don't wake up sad. It doesn't mean that there are not some days where it's super hard for me to get out of bed. That's like one of the major ways my depression shows up is that it's really hard for me to get out of bed in the morning. So I'm a morning person naturally. Like I pop up like a daisy or like a sunflower, right? The sun comes up, Kristin is up and bright and happy and ready to take on the world. When my depression hits, I wake up and I'm like, nah, fam, we good. I'm not ready. And I can lay in the bed. I think the longest I've laid in the bed after waking up without getting up to do anything is probably about 4.5, 5 hours because I just didn't have the energy to do it. Now, once I get up and start moving, I'm okay and I can manage it. But it can be really, really hard. Um, Somebody said they had therapy and it's not enough. So it's not therapy alone. It's using all of these tools together, right? So prayerfully, your therapist is helping you to give you some tools that you can use outside of your therapy session. One of the things I really love about my therapist is she says some stuff that is like a trigger for me that I can kind of play on repeat in my head to reset myself. We've talked about different practices. She told me to try aromatherapy, right? Because while I don't mind taking medication if I need to, because I have to take medication for other things, I try not to add any more if I don't have to. So when we were discussing the potential use of antidepressants, we said, okay, before we go this route, let's try aromatherapy, which for me helped. So that's another thing, can you try aromatherapy? I'm actually going to list some scents that they say are good for helping with depression in a minute. Give me a second, I'm going to get there because I wrote them down. When you wake up crying, you got to just give yourself space to get that out of your system so that you can go. What I do know is that if you hold it in and if you repress it, you're going to run into some complications. So again, full transparency, last year I just had a lot going on in the fall. So while my normal trigger of November 1st hit, I literally, when I would feel something, I'm like, I don't have time for that right now because I'm trying to get this other stuff done. I was in school, finishing undergrad. I did not finish undergrad when I went initially. I just finished last December. Yay me. Accomplishing goals. So I was like, I got homework to do and I have finals and I'm graduating on December 14th. I don't have time to be sad right now. And so literally I went through this cycle, right? Of every time something came up, I was like, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. So when my life finally settled down, and when I say I went from thing to thing to thing, so I'm in that last semester of school. Like I said, I went to Kenya for Thanksgiving. So I spent a week in Kenya. I'm not going to deal with depression on my trip to Kenya. I'm going to enjoy Kenya. Forget what you heard. Came back, came and went to a friend's 40th birthday party because that was really important to me. She doesn't live in town anymore. She was having a party. So I got off of like 16 hours in flights, came home, took a shower, got dressed, and went to a 40th birthday party to have finals week, right? And then it was my goddaughter's first birthday and one of my really good friends, her 40th birthday, and then my goddaughter's mom, her birthday, like all literally all within 2 days of each other. And then my goddaughter's party. So all within 3 days of each other, right? I had all this happened. And so I was like, boom, 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 let's do that. The next weekend was graduation. The weekend after that was our family Christmas party in Michigan. So I'm flying home and I'm in it to win it because this family Christmas party is a really big deal in my family. My aunt and uncle have been hosting it for like the last 6 years. This year breaks the tradition, unfortunately, because of COVID. They collect canned goods, they give stuff away. It's a DJ, it's catered. It's like 200 people. It's a thing, okay? I ain't got time to be sad. I got to do this thing. Spend time with my cousin, like do all this stuff. I got my flight back. I got back to Atlanta on December 24th. I cried from December 24th, I think, through December 28th. I cried until we went to see the lights. And so we had our tradition of me going to the botanical gardens. I was in bed, like in tears, like bawling. I spent Christmas Day in bed crying because I pushed it off for so long. So you got to deal with it as it comes, or it's going to attack you all at once, and that doesn't feel good. So give yourself space to let it happen. Eat your chocolate cookie, Cecil. Just don't eat the whole bag. Like get one chocolate chip cookie or two. Be mindful. Yes, building new traditions is really a great way to help manage how you feel and to be able to move forward successfully. I'm trying to kind of hit up all the comments. You don't have to go. Your sister can, who is this? Belinda, you don't have to go to the gravesite. If that's what your sister needs to do to be well, let her do it. But you don't have to do it with her. That's what she's doing so that she is comfortable and so that she can process the death of your loved one. If that's not what you need, opt out. And it doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you a person who is setting your boundaries and doing what you need to do to be healthy. Um, and if you can't go and be around family, don't go. You are not obligated to sacrifice your own wellness or happiness because someone else is uncomfortable with your decisions. If you're not hurting yourself, right? You're not hurting yourself. If you're not hurting anyone else, and when I say hurting, I'm talking about physical harm, you don't have to do it just to make them more comfortable. In particular, if it sacrifices your own comfort and well being. Give yourself time to get to that place. I didn't spend Christmas with my family. I didn't do this. Like I said, this family Christmas party is like 5 or 6 years old. I just went the last 2 years because that's when I was able to handle it. Do what you can handle. You are not obligated to do more than what you can handle just to make somebody else feel better about it. You're just not. Um, so that is my recommendation. Don't let anyone guilt you into doing something that's really not good for you. And if it's not helping you heal, you don't have to do it. You might find that one day you get to a place where you can visit a gravesite of a loved one that you lost, or where you can go back and be with family in the way that you used to be with them. But you're not required to do that before you're ready. You're not. So do what you need to do to be well. Give them space to have their own traditions and do what they need to do to be well. And then you guys can decide together how you want to be together to celebrate. But it doesn't have to look like what it used to. Big example, in my family growing up, my grandmother's sister, my Aunt Elizabeth, hosted Thanksgiving, and my grandmother's sister, my great aunt Charlesetta, would host Christmas. Well, Charlesetta passed away. And when Charlesetta passed away, that Christmas dinner didn't happen for a couple of years. It eventually turned into like a family Christmas brunch, right? But the tradition changed as people healed, and that's okay. Um, let the traditions change. You can build new ones. And when you're ready, you can go back to the old ones if you're ready. Some stuff you can let go. My family does not do the hand wrap gifts anymore with the bows. Do I know how to do it? Yes. And on occasion, I might do it for a birthday or something just because, I want to show off my skills and my bows are beautiful. I don't really do that at Christmas anymore because it's painful. I don't have to inflict pain on myself to make somebody else feel good about it. At one day, I might be ready for it, but that's not today. And that's okay. So give yourself space. Um, so that's that. Oh, here we are. I said try aromatherapy. So maybe you don't want to take supplements. A lot of people don't want to put a bunch of stuff into their body. I respect it. Aromatherapy, like I said, was one of the things that worked for me. One of my really sweet friends, when I was telling her what my therapist said, she bought me a whole little like aromatherapy kit. So I have a nice little setup, that I was able to start with because I have, really dope people in my life who invest in my mental well being. But there are certain essential oils that are known to boost your mood and to help with the depression and anxiety. And so they are jasmine, sandalwood, lang lang, which is YLANG, basil, bergamot, rose, geranium, lavender, and chamomile. Another thing you can do that helps me, and to see if it helps you, some of this is going to be trial and error, right? You're going to have to try some stuff to see if it works for you. And then if it does, you keep doing it. If it doesn't, you go on to the next thing. Warm beverage makes me feel really good. It's like giving me a hug from the inside out. And so I will chamomile tea, lavender tea, or I have all kinds of tea because I really like tea. I have teas for my trips to Rwanda and Kenya, so they make me feel good for multiple reasons. They remind me of these really beautiful experiences I had when I took these trips. They also feel good when I'm having them. Like I said, it's like a hug from the inside out. Hot chocolate is another one that I love. We do hot chocolate. Hot apple cider is a tradition for me. It reminds me of my favorite field trip growing up as a kid, which was to the apple orchard, and you would have hot apple cider and apple cider donuts. It was like the bomb. So, what are your things that just make you feel good, that are a part of the fall? Apple cider is a fall thing. I go to the apple orchard every year. We found a way to do it this year with COVID and everything else. It was one of the most beautiful experiences I've had this entire season. where my depression has been running rampant, right? And so, try a warm beverage. So try a chamomile tea or a lavender tea. Like it works on the inside just as well as it works on the outside. And you can do the aromatherapy. You can do a candle. You can do like a room spray. I have a friend who sprays her pillows with lavender every night before she goes to bed because it helps her sleep better. That's another thing you do. Get rest during the season. One of the questions was actually, how do you get past the desire to just hibernate? You might need to hibernate some, right? All year we push ourselves and we got to do this and this deadline and this thing and make this happen. And then this is a time when everything slows down and your body might need some of that time to recover. So for part of it, hibernate. Give yourself grace to sleep in a little bit, to do less, to calm down, to catch up, because you might need it for real. And then what you can do is if you see like, okay, this is becoming a lot, like I'm spending all my time in bed, give yourself time limits. I am good. We have these phones. Everybody's phone is probably somewhere near them right now. It's never far away, right? I set time limits. So if I feel like I've been in the bed too long and I need to try to get up and be productive, I'm going to set a 30-minute alarm. And I give myself that full 30 minutes. I might close my eyes, maybe not to sleep, but just to continue to rest and not have sensory input. I might put on music. I might be reading. I could be scrolling on the internet. But when the alarm goes off, I take a deep breath and I get out of bed and I move on to the next thing. So set time limits and then also arrange for yourself to do some things that you love. So maybe you can't do what you normally did, right? I can't go just kick it at my girl's house, which is one of the things I want to do. But maybe we can meet up and hang out outside, socially distanced. So one of my friends in the room, Stacy and I had a hangout like at the beginning of October. Our birthdays were both at the beginning of COVID, so we did like a COVID redo. And we wore a mask and we were outside, but we went and got ice cream together and we walked on the belt line, so it was safe outdoors. We, the whole thing, and it felt good to do it. So can you do something like that? Who's the homie that you can call and say, let's go be socially distanced together? I have another group of friends, and what we did, my homegirl, her apartment, where she lives, her condos, they have a parking deck. Nobody parks on the top level of the parking deck. We all rode into the parking deck, parked on the top level, rolled our car windows down or opened the door, and we sat and we talked to each other. It made sure we stayed apart because we stayed in our cars, and we had a tray that we put like in the middle of all of them that had like snacks. It had like Jello shots. All the little things we wanted to share was like candy and stuff. And so you're like, hey, I'm running to the center to grab something. You grab it, you go sit back in your car. We were out there for probably like 2 hours, like laughing, having a good time together, but apart in a way that's safe. So you got to get creative, right? You don't have to be completely alone. You just have to be more thoughtful about how you gather. Okay. Um, let's see. What else? What can I do to calm my nerves before dealing with my family? Let me tell you something. If you don't want to deal with your family, don't deal with your family. This year of all the years is the year to be like, I can't do it. The CDC said it's not safe. That's it, that's all. If your family causes you anxiety, my number one tip is going to be don't go. Don't go. It's the work you have to do to recover from the experience is probably not worth it. I'm just saying. If you are just determined to go or you feel like you just have to go, set a time limit. They say dinner starts at 4. You got 1 hour of my life. I'm going to go from 4 to 5 and I'm going to leave. And I don't have to give a reason for leaving. I'm ready to go. That's my reason, right? You have to understand that you don't have to explain yourself to people. You don't have to explain advocating for yourself, protecting your mental health to anyone. You don't need anyone's permission to do that. You are an adult. You may be, I tell my mom, she tells me, you will always be my baby. I own it. I'm her baby. I'm my mother's only child. I said, Mommy, while I will always be your baby, you're talking to another adult woman. And you've got to honor that. I'll never disrespect my mom. But my mama also has to respect my boundaries because I'm an adult. I'm her baby, but her baby's 39, not 9. So there's some differences. So if your family is causing you anxiety, you don't have to get their permission to do what you need to do to be well. Just do what you need to do to be well, and they'll understand eventually. Even if it ain't this year, they'll get it one day, and you'll all be better for it. Um, let's see. With travel limitations, what can people with no family in their area do to keep depression at bay? All the stuff I named. Like you have to be proactive, right? I know that this is my hard time of year. And so I'll say my depression has been very active this year, right? With all the things that was going on with anxiety, I have asthma, I have like underlying health conditions. So I've been a little bit more scared probably than the average person dealing with COVID. I've also had like 3 anxiety attacks. So I can't just be in this house cooped up by myself, not doing stuff. So I just realized I had to be proactive to ensure that I could get to a good place, as good of a place as I could get before this season that's naturally a down season for me hit. So my therapist and I worked really hard together, particularly probably between August and October, to get me on an upswing because we knew my downswing was coming. So you have to be proactive in this. If you know that this is a rough time for you, be proactive in filling your house with things that you love. Be proactive in scheduling a nail appointment, a massage, whatever you feel comfortable doing in the time of COVID that will help you feel better. Be proactive in connecting with people that bring you joy. There have been, so I've been on 3 Zoom calls with the Singles Lounge since last Friday, right? I did Friday, I did Sunday night football, I did Monday night football. Let me tell you what I don't care about, football. I didn't even really engage a lot on Sunday night, but having them in the background helped me to feel better. What do you need to do to feel better, to connect with people, even if you're connecting in a way that still allows you to be somewhat disengaged, right? Connecting doesn't mean you got to be all in and just a super big part of the conversation, which is what I did last night. I didn't have that same energy Sunday night. Sunday night, I just needed to hear people having conversation, laughing, having fun. So I was pulled up on my computer screen and I was doing work. It worked for me. So figure out what works for you to help you connect with others, even if you can't connect with them in the way that you want to. FaceTime calls, was it House Party app, Google Voice, not Google Voice, that's not what I meant. WhatsApp video calls with people that do bring you joy. If like most of your family get on your nerves, but you got that one really dope cousin, schedule a conversation with the really dope cousin. My cousin, my baby cousin, who is my heart, I love her to pieces. We on election night, she works overnight, like she has all this stuff going on in her life, so we don't get to connect often. We were both up on election night. We were on the phone till like 3 o'clock in the morning. It was the best conversation, the best time. Filled my little love tank, got my heart happy and soaring. Are we gonna do that again anytime soon? Probably not. But it's a part of what helps me navigate this season is knowing that if I need to, I can. I can reach out to her, I can call her, I can see her. Spending time with my goddaughter is a super up for me, which is why we did our photos, right? And when I release them to the world, when I put them on the internet, like y'all got all y'all family pictures, well, boom, my goddaughter got the best Gigi out here. These are our pictures and our matching dresses. There's joy in that, right? And I can connect with her. I can FaceTime call with her. They're one of the few people who I interact with still personally. So I can go over to their house. I can say, hey, I need some baby snuggles. Can I come through? Let's get these baby snuggles popping. So you just have to be proactive and think ahead and see what you need to be well. I like being in nature. So I'll go sit in the park away from people, get out of my space. But being outside does help me. Just sitting in the sunshine does help me. One of the things, so I wrote a book on self-care. This is going to be just a mini advertisement. The Black Girls Guide to Self-Care. Black men can use it too, right? You can get it on Amazon. But one of the activities, I'm going to give y'all like a cheat code. One of the activities I did years ago that was a game changer for me is I created a list of 100 things that bring me joy. Sounds like a lot. It's not really that much. That could be a hard place to start, right? So I built that list over some time, but it was 100 things that bring me joy. From that 100, I broke it down to like a top 10 list. From that top 10, I have my quick fix 3. So one of the things that was like, boom, it's going to immediately put me in a better mood, blowing bubbles. I love bubbles. You can't be mad when you make the face that you have to make to blow bubbles. When you out here talking about something, you can't be mad. You're going to laugh. You're going to smile. I've seen like the hardest person around turn into a 3-year-old when they saw bubbles, like, ooh, like you can't help but want to pop one. It's just kind of the nature of bubbles. I used to keep a little bottle of bubbles in my purse. because it brought me joy. It could reset me really quickly. Listening to music. We got these phones. Go to YouTube. If you don't have a good playlist, I have a feel good playlist. Like, that's gonna elevate my mood. You know, if it's twerk, twerk. If it's Jesus, get your spiritual music on, whatever it is. If it's jazz, if it's classical, but get you a feel good playlist. Like, that's a part of the cheat code. Get you like an hour long feel good playlist that you can pop into and to help elevate how you're feeling. We have to take as much responsibility as we can for ensuring our own well being because we are the ones that have to live with us. Some people, if you can't travel, one of the things I'll be doing in the coming weeks to kind of get me a reset is I'm going to do a staycation. I'm going to book a hotel room at a really nice hotel, and I'm going to go and have my time because I just need to be out of my house, right? I've just been in my house too much, right? And I need some space, but I'm not going to get on a flight. I'm not comfortable traveling. I can't do a long road trip right now. What I can do is go to downtown Atlanta and get a really nice hotel room with a really great view, drink some wine, read a book, playing makeup. That's kind of my new thing, is playing makeup, relax, watch a movie, but to give myself that space. So maybe you can't go far, but you can go, right? So again, this is going to be about creativity. So these will be my like closeout tips, and then I'll see if there are any other questions in the chat that I can see really quickly. Create at least a list of 25 things that bring you joy, 25 things that can reset you, that can put a smile on your face. Like I said, mine off the top, read a book, a hug, anything with my goddaughter, hugs, FaceTime calls, anything, connecting with people that I love. I literally talk to my mama every day. And then I committed to talking to one other person outside of my mom every day and just connecting with a friend. Journaling, super big for me. I've gotten into watching, like, I love Marvel movies, and I just got Disney Plus. It's a win because I love Disney movies too. I'm a big kid. Give me a cartoon any day of the week. Being outside, I'll go sit in the sun. I'll go walk. We have this thing called the Beltline in Atlanta. I'll go walk on the Beltline. A good glass of wine. I've been talking a lot. Hold, please. That was delightful. A feel good food item. So I have these chips that I like that I can easily grab onto and eat a couple of chips. We are discussing things you can do to navigate your mental health and staying well in this season, Bernard. So that's like a big thing for me, is like watching a Marvel movie or a Disney movie. Again, listening to really good music, put on complete performances in my apartment. None of y'all will ever see this, but I have a good time with it. So doing that. These are some just easy, quick things I can do. What are your quick things that you can do? Hearing children's laughter will reset my mood in a heartbeat. So I will go and sit at the park, at the playground, swinging on the swings. Brings me joy. I don't do it as much right now, pandemic, but we got a swing set in my apartment complex that we helped build. So I can go over there when the kids aren't out. So I can go really early in the morning, I can go at night and sit on the swings. It's going to bring me joy. What are your 25 things that are going to bring you joy from your 25? What are your top 10 that you probably go through more often than not? And then from your top 10, what are your quick fix 3? Like, that it's a rough moment and I need to reset right now. What is that going to be for you? My top 3 are sitting in the sunshine, listening to music, and writing. There are times where I do all 3 at once. Again, sis stay with some bubbles. I'll blow bubbles in a heartbeat. This is on my dining room table, so I can always find it. Blow bubbles in a heartbeat. Because, like I said, I can't be mad while blowing bubbles. I have a house full of books. There are like 400 books in my house. I'm going to read something. Because those are the things that are going to easily reset me. And if I need to, I'll call my mama. And I'm like, Mommy, I just want to hear your voice. Because her voice for me is soothing. Who is a person who you can just call or connect with because their presence brings you like peace, right? If it's not your mom, if there's an aunt, a sibling, a cousin, a friend, you say, I just want to talk to you because when I talk to you, I feel better. Be real about it. Be honest about where you are so you can get to where you want to be. Exercise. That's another part of taking care of your body. So I've already talked about making sure you drink your water, make sure you eat really good food. Those are really critical things. Move your body. Go for a walk. It doesn't have to be intense. More transparency. Y'all find out all my business tonight, right? I've been in 2 car accidents this year. Neither one was my fault. I've been in 4 car accidents in the last calendar year. Again, not my fault. It's like I have a target on my car or something, right? So I can't do a lot of stuff I used to do. I used to love going to Zumba classes. I love to dance. I used to go running because I like being outside, go for walks, all this other stuff. Can't really do that right now because there are limitations to what my body can do in this season as I go through this healing process. Because my most recent car accident happened on October 22nd, a month ago. So there's not a lot I can do, but the little things I can do, I'm going to do them. So I'm going to go for a short walk on the Beltline. I'm not doing my normal 2 miles I was doing, but I can go out there for a couple blocks and walk back. I can do that. I can walk around my neighborhood. I can dance in my living room. Maybe I'm not doing all the dancing I was doing before, but I can move my body because moving your body feels good, right? And it's good for you, and it boosts your mood, and it's another way to release those endorphins in your brain, which is those feel good hormones. Um, Again, what are those things for you? So move your body, exercise. That's really critical. In particular, it will help you if you find it hard to get out of bed. So for my person who asked about hibernating and like, what do you do when you don't want to get out of bed? If the first thing you do when you get out of bed is like some stretching, pick like 4 or 5 yoga stretches that you can do in like, 3 or 4 rounds of. So it doesn't even have to be a lot, but that blood flow will wake you up and will give you energy and will release those feel good hormones so that you can get to the next thing. Some other little fun stuff because we're not going anywhere. Like wear your good clothes, but wear them for you. Like you ain't gotta go nowhere to dress up and be cute. Wear your good clothes, wear your cute shoes in the house. Get your little tripod, take a picture, remember the moment, and chill and sit in your living room in your beautiful clothes and drink your wine or your tea or your water or whatever it is you want to drink. A glass of milk, hell, I don't care. Eat your feel good food, your celebratory food, and just celebrate the fact that you made it. You're still here. 2020 has taken a lot from us. It has taken a lot of people from us. Please be grateful that you are still here because we are grateful that you're still here. That means you still have something to do. Still, there's something in you that the world needs, and we want to have it. Another thing that you can do that if it will feel a little unconventional, but it's something that I do that helps me a lot. I get a lot accomplished during the season of depression because focusing on purpose and focusing on goals and focusing on what I want my life to be about motivates me to move when I don't want to. So take some time. What are some things you want to accomplish and bring into the world? What do you want your legacy to be? And give yourself 30 minutes to an hour every day to focus on that. And you will be surprised how motivated you become to keep moving and to keep pushing and to keep pressing, even when it's hard, right? I know that I want to change the world of education. I'm in grad school right now, so all I want to do right now is finish the semester well. Summer semester, I got a 4.23. She's not just pretty, she's very smart. No, all jokes aside, well, that wasn't a joke, but back to being serious. It's very important to me to excel academically because I know what I want to do moving forward, right? So I'm going to spend some time during this break where I normally would have been around people and hanging out and doing stuff and creating memories, working on what I want for my future. So I'm going to be applying to a PhD program. That is going to give me energy. That is going to be motivating. That is going to push me forward. There's some things I want to write from a scholarly perspective and put into the world because I want to add to the conversation. I'm going to focus on that. And I'm going to spend some time doing that during the holiday break. I'm a graduate research assistant, and I get to co-author a paper with the professor I'm working with. I'm going to spend some time during the Christmas break working on that. Why? Because pursuing purpose brings joy. So pursue your purpose to add motivation and joy. So on the hard days, you remember that there's more of you than how you feel in the moment. In the moment, we can be overwhelmed by our feelings, right? And it really feels like, I asked somebody, when I had that wave of sadness that I talked about that hit on October 31st into like November 1st, 2nd, I posted in a group that I'm in on Facebook, and I was like, what do you do when the sadness is so overwhelming that it feels like you will never feel joy again? Because that's how I felt in that moment, even though I know that joy is still possible and that joy will still happen. In that moment, it felt like it would never happen again because I was that sad, right? You know what helped me get out of that? is to focus on coding these videos that I need to code because we want to change the landscape of asynchronous education to positively impact Black and Brown students. That matters to me. So when I couldn't get on the phone, when I couldn't get up just because I wanted to, I was motivated by the purpose that I have to move forward. So, what's your purpose? What's your legacy? If you don't know, it's a great time to put some energy and effort into figuring some of it out so that on the days when nothing else works, your calling can call you out of your dark place. Let's see. Are there any other questions? Yes, for all my tea drinkers, and yes, for this spiked cider. I'm with that as well. Enjoy your life, sis. There is a cider, the orchard that I go to. I talked about going to the apple orchard every year. So the orchard that we go to, they have a peach cider, a muscadine cider, a scuppernog cider. I didn't even know what a scuppernog was, but that cider is bomb. Strawberry cider and apple cider, good time to be had by all. I think any of those would probably be great, like with maybe a apple cider and bourbon. Might feel really, really good. Like I'm thinking about it, like. So, and I have some. I think I know. I think I know what I'm gonna do when I get off of this live. I think there might be some apple cider and bourbon in my near future, or the scuppernog. I'm sorry, like I'm getting excited thinking about these new things to try, right? Um, but that is what I have. Those are my tips to navigating this season. Feel free. I'm gonna go back through this chat when I close out of the live and I can kind of see it better. I think somebody asked me to post some of those lists that I gave out, so I'll post all of that in the chat. I will so I will post the list. I will post a recipe. My friend sent me a recipe for apple cider sangria. Blessing. Okay. I just wanted you to know how intense that was. I made it last night and it blessed me. So I'll post that recipe if you want to try a spiked beverage. Apple cider sangria is a joy. It was for me. If you like white wine, there's white wine in it. So let's see what else. That's it. I love you guys. I really do. I know I don't know you, but know that I love you. I'm praying for you. I'm praying that you see the light at the end of the tunnel because you know what? There's light at the end of the tunnel. You just got to get to it. So have a lovely evening.